Welcome to AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. Each month, we deliver informative health and wellness topics you want to know about, so make sure to subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform. And if you have any questions about content discussed in this episode, ask them at AFSPA Live, our live Q&A session streaming every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Now here's your host, Chief Executive Officer Kyle Longton.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of AFSPA Talks. I'm Kyle Longton, and with me as always is...
Maddie Norton.
Hey, Maddie, I think it's probably too late to say this, but Happy New Year.
Right. Well, Happy New Year,
Can we say it through the end of January?
I think that should be allowed. I think that's okay.
Fair enough. It's our first episode of 2025, though. And I'm very excited. New year, new excitement, new challenges, new members.
Yes. So exciting to have some new members, and hopefully you have some new members listening to this.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's for you. It's for them.
I mean, last time we talked was back in November. Sorry to our listeners. Things got a little crazy after that because we talked about open season.
Right.
And now open season's over. Anybody who made a change, that change has become effective. And oh my goodness, did we have a busy open season. So I'm actually working on statistics from around January 10th. We had more than 7,700 changes that came in.
That's incredible.
More than 1,200 of our enrollees, I'm glad to say, took our advice and moved from self+1 to family. They'll be saving themselves over $500 over the next year.
Yeah.
But we had more than 5,200 new enrollees. And yay. Although I appreciate your enthusiasm. Taking into account terminations and so forth, we've seen a net growth of more than 4,400 enrollees, which means we're probably looking at close to 10,000 new members, covered lives, to use the insurance terminology, or a 10% growth in FSBP membership. So it's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is almost double the number of new members we've seen in any open season. Last year was a record.
Right. I was going to say.
So I just want to say at the top, we'll be working hard to catch up. And because we have so many new members, I think we'll spend today's episode, today AFSPA Talks, tips for new members.
Yes. And hopefully you'll take them to heart and you will use them, because we are ready and we have them all written out, because we are so excited to have you guys here and to join the FSBP family.
Absolutely. And we want to give you some advice. Our team, our colleagues, and the two of us, we're working hard. Many people are working overtime to stay on top of things. But in the meantime, we want to give our newest members and even some of our long-time members some tips on how best to use the features and benefits of FSBP and AFSPA as a whole. So I want to dive in. Our newest members, Maddie, we send them, and I say we, but you and your colleagues on our outreach and communications team send our new members some emails as soon as we get their enrollment. And it welcomes into the plan. And those emails include some suggestions of actions they might take. So I'm going to hand it over to you. I think it's my name on the email. Just welcoming people. And so welcome. But I'm hoping you can talk a little bit more in detail about some of those steps, reiterating some of those steps that members might take to start utilizing their benefits.
Right. And I would say, most importantly, there are 3 websites that you might need to be aware of and you need to register for. Those are, the first one's the AFSPA member portal. It's where you need to go to update your contact information, submit claims, even manage your enrollment in other AFSPA programs. And you need to know also that there's only one account per family, and it's tied to the email address of the primary enrollee. So keep that in mind. The next website we want you to use is the Aetna Secure Member website. This is where you can have an individual account for each member of the family, as long as they're over the age of 14, to access information on their claims, our wellness programs, and more. And then the last website you should register for is the Express Scripts website. You can have individual accounts for family members there. This is where you would manage your prescription benefits. That means like home delivery, prior authorization, support programs, and more.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. We'll include a link to a page on our website where we explain each of these three. But you gave an excellent overview, but I want to talk a little bit more about the member portal, because we've made some changes in recent years. And I do want to stress for people, it's not an app.
Yes.
We looked at this several years ago and we continue to talk about it. We feel that like a secure mobile friendly site is the best way for our members around the world to access this resource rather than trying to provide updates every time Android or iOS or anybody else has an update and we've got to push it out. This allows us to stay up to date and secure for our members all the time. But in the last couple years, it's gotten a new look. It's more user friendly. It includes options within the portal to send messages, to submit your questions and so forth. Maddie, you mentioned it is the fastest way to update contact information.
Yeah.
You know, we get that initial enrollment from somebody's retirement office or their employing office, and that's it. We don't,
Yep.
if you change your address with them in the future, that's great. They've got it. We don't get it unless you send it to us. So please keep that up to date.
Yes, especially if you're overseas or moving overseas, moving states, because we know
Mhm.
lots of our members are. So be sure to update that as soon as something changes with your contact information.
Absolutely. And then you also, Manny, mentioned this is a place to submit claims. It used to be we only accepted PDFs. And we do more than that now. So people can submit, our members can submit picture files as well as PDFs. And if you're using the portal on your mobile device, you can just take a picture of your claim and upload it right there.
It's very nice and easy, especially I didn't even know the fact about the PDF. But I'm glad you mentioned claims. This is probably the main reason members use the portal, especially because members overseas and anyone submitting a claim for those popular massages.
Mhm.
Um, Start your new year off with a massage, actually. That's a great way to do it. The AFSPA member portal is the fastest and best way for members to submit claims to FSBP. You can include a question if you have one, which is great for members. We recommend submitting claims separately rather
Yeah.
than bundling them together. This just helps us ensure that all files are processed correctly and we don't want to miss a claim or anything like that. Include as much detail as you can when you submit your claim. For instance, if it's a claim for a visit to the doctor's office, include information on why you went to the doctor. You know, was it an earache? Did you have a sprained ankle? Um, Make sure that you just put as much details as possible because that helps us in the long run.
Yeah, May, that's a great point because that I think that's probably the most frequent reason we have a situation where, in particular, overseas claims get delayed. It's because we don't have a diagnosis. We get a claim from a member and it just says doctor's visit, and that's great. But
Right.
because we have to meet US requirements, you don't need to send us and go through a search process to find the specific ICD-10 code. Just give us the information like Maddie mentioned, an earache, a sprained ankle, annual checkup, whatever it is, vaccine visit, whatever it is. Let us know that our team of processors, some of whom have been working on FSBP and overseas claims in particular for a quarter of a century, they will take it from there. They know what to do with that, but they need that much information from you to be able to process it correctly. So whenever you get care, let us know why you got that care and what the care was. And I also want to just say, on the topic of receiving care, I want to make a couple other suggestions for our members in terms of ways to quickly get care and get it affordably. If you're in the US and believe it or not, about more than 60% of our members are in the US, please consider going to an in-network provider. This is the best way to maximize your benefits and keep your out-of-pocket costs as low as possible, both, maximize the deductible, but also then your co-insurance, keep it as low as possible. And then, we talked about this during open season, so you can go back and listen to that, but I do want to encourage people to consider lower cost sites of care. If you've got something and you call your primary care doctor, they say, we can't see you for a week. You don't if you don't need to go to the emergency room, if you do, go for it. But if you're like,
Yes.
got a sore throat, I got an earache, whatever it is, think about other sites of care, such as convenient care clinics like minute clinics,
Yep.
urgent care centers, even, and telehealth visits with our partners. These can all be ways to get care more quickly and also more affordably.
Yes. And speaking of telehealth visits, in fact, FSBP members can go ahead and register for Teledoc Health, which is just in the States, and then V Health, which is worldwide, if you're outside of the States, to access telehealth care at no cost when they need it. And we will have links for this in the show notes. So be on the lookout for those.
Mm-hmm. And our new members, I think that goes back to one of those other emails that we send out. I think there's some links in there. So people may have already registered, but I love it if they do it now. You can go ahead and fill out that health questionnaire. So you don't have to do it when you're like, I need care right now. Gotta go
Right.
through this. Just have it ready, have it done. And when it comes to virtual solutions, it's not just telehealth. We've got a number of other support programs we offer for mental health needs, chronic condition management, just helping support your health goals like lowering stress, eating better, exercising more, and so forth. And there's more information on that on our website under the wellness programs heading.
Yes. And speaking of the website, we have lots of information there. That and the plan brochure are great first stops for members who have questions about FSBP. The links on the website, or I should say the pages, are pretty easy to access. And there's also contact forms if you need help. So if you need help, we do have secure email options, and we're also available by phone, obviously.
Yeah. And I am glad to say our members are utilizing those options to contact us. But because we have more members than ever, I should say,
Yeah.
I do want to take just this opportunity to set some expectations about communicating with the plan and even on claims, because a lot of the questions we get both by email and by phone are about the claims status. And so I want to stress that claims processing takes time. We're quicker than the baseline requirements from the federal government. We're quicker than in many cases than some of our peer plans in the FEHB, but it doesn't happen overnight, and especially for overseas claims and even those massage claims, they have to be handled by a human being. They can't just go through a computer and be adjudicated automatically and they're out. It's a human being looking at these. So I get a weekly update on this, and our processors are doing amazing work. But I do want to note that it can take up to 30 days to process a claim. Usually we're well under that 30 days. But I would encourage members, if you've submitted a claim, please don't call us within a week to ask for the status of it.
Right.
Because likely it's still in the queue to be processed, and we're getting to it. It's just it will take some time. So I would say if you're waiting on the processing, give us up to 30 days before you contact us to ask about the status. If there's an urgent situation, that may be different, but otherwise, if it's just a standard claim, give us some time to process it. And I would also add, we haven't touched on this, but sign up for electronic funds transfer reimbursement. EFT. There's a simple way to do that on our website. That means once we process the claim, we can put the money directly into your bank account. You don't have to wait for a paper check to arrive. Maddie, you talked about secure email options and secure forms on our website and contact by phone. So you can also send us a letter. I still get letters from members. I actually have one I need to respond to. But with the increase in our membership, we are in the process of increasing our staff to meet member needs. That does take some time to identify qualified individuals, train them, and get them on the phones and on the email. So you might, for right now, members might encounter longer wait times or even a longer turnaround time for emails. If you call us and you're told that you're further down in the queue, maybe you're ninth or 10th in the queue, and you're thinking, I don't want to wait that long, we do have a callback option. It means that typically our health benefits officers will call you back later in the day. It doesn't maintain your spot in the queue, but it does mean they'll get your message, they'll do the research, so include as much information as possible, and they'll call you back with an answer. And for months, our health benefits officers have been working overtime to make sure they clear back those callback requests each day. And I just got this statistics this week that our correspondence team, who handles the email mostly, saw a 50% increase in the number of emails in 2024 compared to 2023. So they've added staff, we've got more coming, but it used to be we had a typical three business day turnaround time on emails. Things are taking a bit longer now. So it may be a week or more before you get that response. Give us some time to get back to you before you maybe send a follow-up or a duplicate message with the same question.
And if you're looking for other updates on the plan or AFSPA, there's other ways to get those updates besides emailing or calling us. First one, obviously, is following or subscribing to AFSPA Talks, this podcast. It's a great way to stay updated and to also like get a deeper dive into the programs we offer. So if you have particular questions about a certain program, we've probably done an episode on it. So definitely go back and look at our log of episodes. You can listen anywhere that you normally get your podcast from and check into that. You can also get your general questions answered during AFSPA Live, which is it's every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We know that's during the workday, so do not worry if you can't make it live, because we will always upload immediately afterwards to our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/AFSPA Cares. You can see all of our past AFSPA live streams there as well. So once again, look through those because we've probably done a show about it if you have some questions about something. And then we also keep members updated through our social media channels. So that means Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and our YouTube page. And we also have a variety of other programs, including monthly webinars with Prudential, which are super helpful. We also do financial wellness checkups with Prudential every month, so definitely look into those. And then we also have our big event of the year, which is our upcoming annual meeting.
Oh, our annual meeting. Maddie, what is the annual meeting? When is it? What is it? Why would people want to join us?
Great question. Annual meeting is just a great way for people to listen, especially if they're new members, if they're members for a long time, to hear about updates to the plan, specifically highlights on certain programs. Usually that's what we have some speakers come in and do. And we have it every year, usually the first Friday of March, I want to say. And then this year, it's going to be on Friday, March 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It is hybrid, so you do have the option to come in person if you want, but you can also attend virtually. And I know, Kyle, that you've been steadily working on your presentation.
Yes, I have been working on my presentation. I also want to note that both for the annual meeting and for AFSPA Live every month, if you can't join us live, you can submit questions in advance. We've got information on how to do that. We do try to answer those questions when we get them and when it's appropriate to answer in a public forum. If it's a more personal question, we'll reach out to you in another way. But yeah, no, I have been working on my presentation. I had an hour-long meeting about it yesterday. I had calls this morning as we're recording this to line up the keynote speaker. Been asked to hold the announcement on that for just another day or two. So I hope maybe next time we record a podcast and certainly by the time we have AFSPA Live later this month, we'll be able to announce that, both the keynote speaker and the topic. But I also want to note that at the annual meeting and throughout AFSPA Talks and AFSPA Live and some of the events that you mentioned, AFSPA is about more than just the Foreign Service Benefit Plan. It's a big part of what we do. But we offer a variety of other programs to support our members' needs, including dental insurance programs, a combined dental and vision discount program, a number of life insurance, including accidental death and dismemberment coverage, and even a critical illness program, which was very popular this past year, and for which we are planning an upcoming open enrollment later in the spring. So more information to come on that. But Maddie, you mentioned we've got financial wellness programs, checkups. We also have partnerships with other professional groups for financial planning, long-term care planning, retirement planning, even members of household and travel insurance referrals for groups that we've examined and deemed to be legitimate and worth our members' time. So so much more to AFSPA than just Foreign Service Benefit Plan.
Absolutely. And you can find all of this on our website And we'll even be talking about these options in upcoming episodes.
That's right. So once again, welcome to our newest members, all 10,000 of you. And thank you for the 100,000 plus who have decided to stick with us. Our longer term members will be back soon with another episode of AFSPA Talks, and hope we'll see you on January 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern for AFSPA Live. This has been AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. All information offered in this podcast is meant to be educational. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily represent AFSPA. Should there be any discrepancy between information offered in this podcast and official plan documents for the Foreign Service Benefit Plan or the other products offered by AFSPA, the policy provisions will prevail. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to AFSPA Talks to catch us on our next episode. Please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app, and share your feedback with us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Search for @AFSPA Cares. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of AFSPA Talks. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll never miss an episode. If you have any follow-up questions about the topics in this episode, join our AFSPA Live Q&A session on the last Thursday of every month. We will be streaming live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Thanks for listening.